Hey guys, welcome to Tech Learnings. Today we are going to learn about the different HTTP methods and responses that we commonly use while building our APIs, or you can say while developing our applications. So I have listed down here a few points that we are going to learn today. One is safe methods, and then we are going to learn about the concept of idempotency, then common HTTP methods that we use, and then responses and IETF and RFC. So what are these two things that also we are going to learn today? So let's get started with safe methods. To understand it in a very simple way, safe methods are those HTTP methods which are read-only. Alright, so read-only methods are safe methods. Now why they are called safe? Because they are not going to change anything at the server. They are not going to delete, modify, update or anything, right? They are just read-only methods. For example, you can understand it in this way as well. You have a read-only file. So in a read-only file, you can just read the data, whatever is there in that file, right? You cannot change anything in that file. So same way, we have safe methods which are read-only methods. Example of one such method is a get method, right? We are going to talk about this in the third point as well. So get method is not going to change anything at the server. It is just for retrieval purpose that you are using this method. Another example is a head method. When you are going to when you just want only the headers in the response, you do not want any response body, so in that case you can use head method. So these are safe methods. They are read-only methods, right? Now moving on to the concept of idempotency. Idempotency is, let's try to understand it in this way. Suppose you hit a request to a server, alright. You say that this is my intended effect on the server with this request. Okay. So when you hit the same request for the second time, the effect of that request on the server is same. Alright, you hit that request for the third time. The effect of that request on the server is again same. So no matter how many times you send the request, that same request to the server, the effect of that request on the server is same. This is what we mean by idempotency. So there are some HTTP methods which are idempotent, means they are going to produce the same impact or effect at the server with the same request, right? The request must also be same or identical. And there are few HTTP methods which are non-idempotent, so we are going to see them in the third point as well, right? Just to have a formal definition kind of thing, I have just written here. A request method is considered idempotent if the intended effect on the server of multiple identical requests with that method is the same as the effect for a single such request. I hope now you are clear with idempotency, right? You hit a single request, then you hit multiple identical requests, the effect on the server is same. Okay, so this is what we mean by idempotency. All right, then moving further, HTTP methods. Get method. Now get method is when you are asking something from the server that, hey server, give me the state of this resource. All right, or you can say, so what in response the server is going to send? It is going to send a representation, right, which will contain the state of that resource. So get, as we know, it's a safe method. So you are asking to the server, hey server, please send me the current state of this resource, right? Let's say, for example, you are saying to the server, hey server, give me the record of the customer having customer ID 1. Right? So this is about get method. Then we have post. So what is the response, that response code that you are going to get in case of get method? So 200 is the most commonly used. So 200 OK means the successful response. Or you can have a 404 in this case as well, when not found, when the requested resource is not existing at the server. In that case, the server can send the response code 404, means the requested resource is not present. All right. Now post method. Now the post method is used to create a new resource on the server. When you want, let's say you are sending a JSON representation of a resource, and you are saying to the server that, hey server, please create a resource with this representation onto the server. So post, you can say that it creates a new resource. All right. Or you can say collection of resources as well. If you are sending a list, let's say a list of objects, uh, then in that case your multiple resources might get created at the server. So it is not just about creation of a single resource, it can be resources as well. So 201 is the commonly used response code. That means your requested resources got successfully created. All right. So otherwise you can have the other response codes as well, like 415 is also there, which is 415 is your unsupported media type. Now what is unsupported media type? Let's say your method is accepting a JSON, but what you are sending is not a JSON. It may be a text, simple text, or an XML that you are sending, but the method says I accept only JSON. So in that case you can send 415 unsupported media type. All right. So post is used for creating a new resource at the server. Now for moving further with put. Now put method is generally used to update an existing resource on the server. Now what we mean by update here? Now when I say update, according to the standards, the put should replace, I should rather use the word replace, that whatever your representation that you are sending in the put request body, hey server, please replace the existing resource. See the word replace. Please replace the existing resource at the server with the resource representation that I am sending in the request. Okay. So it is going to replace the existing resource at the server with the new one. Right. So now coming back to the idempotent thing, if you sent the request for the first time, the existing resource got replaced. If you send it for the second time, if you send it for the third time, it is going to replace every time the resource, right? So we can say here that put is an idempotent method, right? So it is going to replace the existing resource with the new one every time you hit the same request. It's an idempotent. What about post? Post is not an idempotent method, because every time it is going to create a new resource. What about get? Get is also an idempotent method, right? Since it is not even changing anything at the resource, so every time, no matter how many times you send a get request, you are going to get the same response as well, right? Now, so this is about put. One more thing is that put can also be used to create the resources. Hey, we said that post is used for creating a resource. Now you're saying again that put can also be used to create a resource. How? Now, you might have encountered these situations where sometimes you have to use that if the resource is existing, then replace it with the one which is being received in the request, or create a new one. Just like you have upsert in your database. What does upsert do? Upsert says that if the you can say the row is present in the database, then update it, otherwise insert a new row. So in that case, in the similar way, put you can also use for upsert kind of operation, that if it is existing, then replace it with the one which I am sending in the request, or else create a new request. All right, so this is about put method. So it can also be used to create. So in that case, you can send a 2 node 1, or in this case you can send a 200 OK in the response. All right, let's talk about delete. So I think delete is a quite simple one to understand. Delete an existing resource. Okay, so if you are creating an API and you're saying HTTP method delete, it means that API is going to delete the resource that you are providing. Alright, so you can also say that hey server, delete the customer account with ID 1, or you can say similarly it can also delete a single resource or a collection of resources. Now what about idempotency? Delete is an idempotent method because it is going to have the same impact at the server no matter how many times you uh, trigger or you send the delete request, right? So this is about HTTP methods. We are left with now patch. Now if heard about this method, someone told me that, do you know there is patch method also existing in the HTTP methods? Frankly speaking, I haven't used this method patch, and when I read about the documentation as well, so this was proposed. Actually, this method was proposed, but it was not made official. I saw the official documentation, but I did not see patch method there. So it's let's try to understand about this method as well. It was proposed, but what was it actually proposed for? Now put, we said it is going to replace the existing resource. Now patch is, you can say, the partial update. You have a row in the database and you want only two fields to be updated. So in that case, you use patch. Alright, so update in partial, basically you are, so in the request body what you are going to send is only the fields that you want to update at the server. So that is the patch method. Alright, then HTTP responses, 200 we already discussed, it's OK response. 201 means created. 400 is a bad request. Now when will you send a bad request? When actually the request is bad. Now how you define what exactly is a bad request is up to you. Suppose at the server and you say that if, let's say, the request is not containing this parameter, then the request is bad, right? So in that cases you can send a 400 bad request response to the uh, client. 401 is unauthorized. In cases when, let's say, user is not authorized to use that API, so then in, or your just security is not allowing the user to basically enter in your system, or you are, so in that case you can send the response code 401 saying you are not authorized to use this. 404 we have already seen, it's a resource not found. 415 unsupported media type we have already discussed. Then 500 is internal server error. Sometimes some exception occurs, all right, so you can send the internal server error, or some unknown error occurred you might have seen somewhere, I think. So that is your internal server error 500 response code. In those situations you can send back. Okay, so these are the common HTTP responses. Now let's quickly go through the IETF and RFC thing as well. So Internet Engineering Task Force, as the name also suggests, that it is going to be some kind of organization or some kind of a community. So yes, it is a kind of community of your very talented group of people. So I have again let's set down here some formal definition of IETF, that it's a standards organization for internet. All right, it's an open international community of network designers, operators, vendors, and researchers concerned with the evolution of internet architecture and smooth operation of internet. All right, so it's an international community of your designers, vendors, researchers, and they take care about the internet. Okay, so they propose their standards through your RFC documents. So I have opened here, let me show you the RFC document 7231, which is proposed in June 2014. So it does not list down the patch method. You can go through this link, I'll post it in the description as well, so you can go through it yourself. So more theory, more things if you want to learn about, and all these methods that I have explained, so you can just go through this link and read about them. And then the RFC 5789, it had the patch method. So if you want to know more about the patch method, so you can just go through this link as well. So both the links I'll put in the description as well. Okay, so I hope now for this all these things are clear to you. Safe methods, idempotent method, the post versus put, right? Because it's sometimes it's confusing when you're saying put can also be used to create a resource, or post is used to create a resource. Which one should you use? Okay, so what are the common response codes? So I hope you are now clear with all these concepts. Thank you so much for watching this video. Before we close today, I would really would like to say a big thank you to all those people who have subscribed to the channel. A big you can say, I would like to say a big thank you to all of you guys. Thank you so much for subscribing. Please do share the video. Please do like, comment, let me know your feedback, or if anything else that you also know that you want to share. So please do let me know. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Good night.